everyone, my name's Emma and I'm the founder of Living in Perfect Harmony. Some of you might already know me from Facebook. I've been around on there for quite a while now already, and I've decided to start branching into YouTube. So I am a light worker, I'm a healer, and I'm a spiritual life coach, and I specialise really with mental trauma more so, although I do like energy clearings and chakra healing and cleansing and all that kind of thing as well, and soul retrievals too, which is what I'm feeling guided to talk about today as my first video on YouTube. So soul retrieval is one of the main things that we need when we start our spiritual journey. So as light workers and empaths, we have to face quite a lot of trauma before we begin our awakening. Now, although it's horrible to go through, once you start your awakening, you'll realise that it's actually all been for experience. We can draw strength off it, and it helps towards living our life purpose when the time comes. So you probably find that the type of trauma you've been through will be the type of trauma that you're going to help other people with, other light workers. So for me, it was narcissistic abuse. I was born into that. My mum was a narcissist, and then she married my stepdad, and he was a narcissist. So from the age of 3, I was completely surrounded by that. Other members of my family are as well, and then, like most people, because you grow up around that, it kind of becomes normal, and because our fibre is quite low from the abuse we experience, that can have a knock-on effect into our adult life. So then we end up with narcissists as husbands and boyfriends, or girlfriends and wives, whatever. So yeah, I've had two important's not the right word. I've had 2 main relationships anyway with narcissists. I have also had run-ins with other ones, but they haven't lasted for one reason or another. But I was married to one for 13 years and we had 4 children together, and then I married another one after that, and we've had 3 children together. So that's all over now though, because obviously I've had my awakening and I've healed and I've done everything I've needed to do, and so my mission and vision is to help all of you do the same. So if you've come and found this video, the chances are you are an empath and a light worker. So soul retrieval is when we experience these traumas, fragments of our soul go off into another realm. Now normally they do come back, but if the parts of the soul that are missing, if they think that the trauma is going to be reenacted, then they tend not to come back, and that's when a soul retrieval is needed. So I'm going to do a description, a demonstration of what it is. So I've drawn a key up here. Blue is our human self and red is our soul or energy field and aura. So we are kind of 2 halves really. We've got a human side, which is our ego, and then we have our soul as well. So let's see. So here is, I'm not very good at drawing and writing on these things, but you should get the idea anyway. So this is our human self, and that is surrounded by an energy field or an aura. And then we have our higher self and our soul. So when we go through these traumas, as I say, it creates gaps in our aura. So this is your soul loss or soul fragments. Okay, so these parts of our soul actually go into another time or dimension. Our soul is our energy or our essence. So when we have gaps here, this allows soul entities or dark forces, dark energies, to be able to latch on, and they can control our thoughts, our feelings, and actually when you start to awaken, we ascend up and our vibe will rise up. Now these attachments are going to stop you from doing that, which is why it's essential that one of the first things you want to do as soon as you feel able, which I'll go into that in a minute, is to do the soul retrieval, to get rid of these. So why do these things latch on? Well, power, domination, they like to have that over other beings on earth. It's like a power game. So it is literally a fight between good and evil. So we're the good, we have all this light and we have the high energy. Even though we feel down, we still have that. Now the dark energies are narcissists. So this is why it is essential that you need to get away from a narcissist or a toxic person if you're wanting to ascend. Because when you do your soul retrieval, if you're still with that narcissist, then it's going to create traumas again, which will create these gaps, and then you're going to get them filled back up by either the spirit entity, which is a human that's crossed over, or a dark force, which is non-human. So that can be like demons, aliens, things like that. So the narcissist, they have also gone through traumas, so they have these gaps in their aura as well. But the difference is the narcissist is so low vibe that these things that have latched onto them completely take them over. So that's why they end up being a dark force. Now they completely consume this person up. So there's nothing left, there's no light, there's no anything. They can even become completely soulless. It gets that bad. So if you can imagine, right, if we do our healing, our soul retrieval, but then you're still with this person, their dark force energy is them, because they've consumed the narcissist, they then want to move on to you because you're full of light and you're full of energy, and that's what they want. They also want you to stop ascending. It's completely I can't think of the word. This is how it goes basically. The dark force is here to stop us. They know. The person might not know, but that dark force that's behind them knows that we are ascending, and we're ascending for the greater good. Now these dark forces don't want that. They want the world, and they want us to stay in the lower vibrations where they are, because when we rise up, they can no longer attach to us anymore. So yeah, that's why you really need to get away as soon as you can. So soul retrieval is basically connecting to your inner child. So you can do this yourself if you want to, if you feel up to it, but I do advise that you don't do it if you're really feeling down and depressed or anything, because obviously you're trudging up old memories, and if you're down already and you start going over that, that's going to get a lot worse. If you are that bad and you want to do it, I would suggest getting a good healer. Now, I can do it, but if you don't feel comfortable with me, there are plenty of other healers out there, and I do suggest that you go and do that. But otherwise, if you want to do it yourself, it's connecting with your inner child. That's what it is. So you can go back to the beginning of the first trauma you remember. So like mine, I was about 2 or 3, and I remember my mum hitting my dad, and I was crying and screaming at her to stop, saying, "Stop hitting my daddy." And that really affected me, and that was the first time that I saw it. And then obviously she married my stepfather, who was a narcissist, so then I watched her get beat as well. So I've kind of grown up around physical violence most of my life. So yeah, these you want to go back to there and connect with that child, and because maybe no one was around to give her a hug or love or reassurance, so you need to be that person. So in your mind, you go back, feel those emotions that you felt at the time. You need to let them wash through you, because as they wash through you, you're going to release them. So what I did was I hugged that little girl and I brought her into me. I said all the things that I wished an adult or someone else had said to me at the time, and you kind of feel a rush come up your body as it integrates back in. You do feel it. It's kind of from your stomach upwards. So you go to each trauma and just do the same thing. Now, even though it's called inner child, it's any trauma. So like when I was 30 and I finally got away from my narcissistic ex-husband, the first one, I went back and I gave her a hug, and I gave her the reassurance that I never had at the time. I was completely alone. He turned my family against me and everything. But I realise now it was a dark night of the soul, and I'll do another video on that as well, and we can go deeper into that. But yeah, I felt alone and lost. I was in a very dark place, and I eventually lost my children because he caused me to have a massive breakdown, because it didn't stop when I left. It actually got worse, and he was lying to social services, and he ended up actually getting custody of my other 4 children. So yeah, as you can imagine, it was tough. But I've learnt now that it was a life experience, and it's given me the experience to now help other people in that situation. Because at the time I felt like I was the only person that had gone through this, and I was thinking, like, what will everyone else think? You know, he's got social services, he's got custody, they're going to be thinking, oh, I must be really bad and stuff like that. And they don't. They knew who I was as a mum. But, you know, all these things go through your mind at the time. So yeah, that kind of, I've drawn strength from that now, and it now enables me to help other people, because other people do go through it. It's amazing how many light workers and empaths go through this, even the court systems. Now, the court systems, all that, I couldn't figure out why they would even listen to him, and it's because they're all run by the dark forces. You'll find them in the police, you'll find them in judge, social services, you know, family courts, social services or child protection, all that kind of thing. They're all in those kind of jobs. So you maybe like me, you might have experienced this and be thinking, like, this is not normal, how can this be happening? That's why. Because the person might not realise it, but that dark force that's controlling them knows that you have a light and you have a mission to do, and they want to stop that. So they will go by all means possible to do that. So for me, it was taking my children. That took me like 8 years or so to get over. I have contact with them now, but for 2 years I didn't see them at all. I've missed out on most of their childhood. But as I say, I am getting to see them now. So yeah, this is why it is so important, and it's so important to get away from them. They can't be healed. You can try all you want, it won't happen, because they've been completely taken over by this dark force. So yeah, so that's basically in a nutshell what soul retrieval is. So as I say, I can do this. I'm a healer. I channel my healings from universal oneness, angels, ascended masters, things like that. So if you want any help with this, you can contact me. I'll leave my website address in the description below. And yeah, if you like this video anyway, please like, share and comment below, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you.